Welcome to the Attaining the World's Beyond book review. Today we are reviewing chapter 27, which is Stages of Correction. As usual, each chapter is full of nuggets, and this one is full of tremendous amount of nuggets. I don't even know where to start, and we've just agreed that we're just going to focus on maybe the first 3 pages of this chapter. When I read it, my conclusion was that it's deeply multifaceted, and it gives us an extension on the subject of faith as a means of correcting egoism. But there's a profound opening statement that was made, which caught my eyes, which says something along the lines that human beings are spiritually blind. And the reason why we are spiritually blind is because there is a screen around our eyes area. And that screen prevents us from seeing everything that is outside us. And what we see is a reflection of what we can perceive through our body, our physical being, which in itself is profound. In other words, our egoistic vessels, I for pleasure, is what determines how we are perceiving everything. But we are told also that unlike our physical, corporeal ailments, which forces us to do something to correct ourselves or to heal our physical body, we don't feel the same when it comes to the ailment of our soul. And it is deliberate. That's how creation have worked it out. And the only way out is for us to use faith. And faith is a spiritual organ. For me, that was in itself a profound statement. You're just reflecting on that, because what the book also said is that we have a disease that is spiritually, we're ill, but the only medication is in the hands of the Creator. And until we recognize that it's only the Creator that is going to help us to get out of it, we won't even be able to start this process of healing ourselves spiritually. And so therefore, the first correction in this stage is to recognize that the help comes from the Creator. And that's when we begin to walk in faith. Because if we try to walk with our own feelings, if what we know through our mindset or what we have seen, we are never going to get it right. And the only way we're going to get it right is by putting a restriction above our thoughts and our feelings and what we know to be true. And so therefore, I'm going to hand you over to Francis. Francis, what do you think?
Yeah, you're right. As we say every week, it's another profound chapter and full of a lot of nuggets. Yeah, so you talk about, stages of correction of egoism being possible only through faith. And when he talks about faith, he talks about, 2 lines in the spiritual work, which is the right line, Abraham, wanting to sacrifice the left line, which signifies Isaac, so that he will walk only on the right line. And then he breaks it down to 3 types of faith. He says simple faith is uncontrolled faith. Faith that is checked by reason is known as faith within reason. But then he defines faith that is above reason as being only possible if a person analyzes his state. In other words, for me to function in faith above reason, I need to define what a reason is. I need my intellect to tease out the reason. And then I can ask for help to operate above that reason. And it's only through that that one can correct egoism. Also, if we're working in faith below reason, or faith that is checked by reason, we not, benefiting from the correction that comes by exercising faith. So when we talk about faith, it's not just groping in the darkness or just blind faith, say, okay, the Creator will do everything. With regards to every event that He brings my way, I need to tease out the reason. I need to do a corporeal calculation. I need to know what my reason is. And then I can ask to go above reason. And if I can operate above reason in every circumstances that He brings to me, then in that way, gradually I'm ascending towards the land of Israel, as he mentions at the end of the chapter. Tuso?
Thanks, Francis. Yeah, I would summarize this chapter, stages of correction, and I liken it to the father or the mother and the child. If the father or the mother want to teach something to the child, they don't teach them at their level. They will not come and give them hard calculus or something hard like that, but they bring themselves down to the level of the child in order for the child to understand, and then the child can grow up understanding clearly. That's why this chapter is speaking of the upper lowering itself to the lower in order to bring the lower upwards. So this is a crucial stage. This is how all the 125 level works, or the 10 Sephiroth. It works by the upper always bringing itself down. Even with our teacher, he brings himself down to our level so that we can look at the guidance that he gives us, and together rise up at least to higher levels. So that's why it's important that once we begin in this journey, when we want to correct our sickness, as Sheila has said, which is the ego, in order to do that, we come to the society where we gather around with people who are like us, people who want to correct or heal this sickness. And by doing that, we somehow attract the upper light or the creator God to help us in turn, because by ourselves we like little magnets without a stronger magnetic force. But when this group of magnets come together, they create such a big magnetic force, and it can attract something higher or the creator. So it was a very interesting chapter, and very, very long, I might say. But in a nutshell, it's all about the upper bringing itself down to the lower in order to take the lower upwards. Elise?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, friends. So I'm going to touch base on everything. Sheila, you started to speak about the illness. Francis, you spoke about the middle line, the right line, the left line, the faith above reason, the faith below reason, the faith within reason, and trying to put each of those on top of one another, right? This illness that we have comes through to us as despair. This is actually the creator, or not the creator, this higher aspect showing itself to us. But it shows its lower part, its apparently dark part to us, and we sense it as this illness. And this perception of the illness or the despair then brings us to a state of wanting to be better, feel better, because that's what we're made of. We want better. And that is then when Thuso now speaks of this magnet, people coming together. Well, we've heard in the other chapters about the fact that we need to love, we need to be altruistic, we need to not be selfish. And of course, if we're going to be altruistic, that will draw us towards other people, wanting to love and care for other people. So there's this kind of mix starting to happen there, the stages of correction that takes us from this perception, first of all, complete spiritual blindness. Then we sense something, a feeling of something's wrong here. Then we have to start making some calculations. Our calculations are within reason. And we say, yeah, but I'm sick, I'm going to go to the doctor, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. Faith below reason might be, I'm not going to the doctor. Everything is going to be super duper happy. Faith within reason, I'm going to the doctor. This is what we do in this physical world. And it might work out completely wrong. And then you have to do another calculation because you see the reality is this is how it is. You're ill. And you go above that. And you have to go above this reason. And this is a place where you have to go blindly, actually, towards something that you can't explain to others, but and you have this faith and you have this, you attempt to come to an understanding that and a knowing that there is the creator, that is the none else besides him, in charge of everything. I'm going to use the prayer, etc. So, and then they carry on in this chapter about the light and how the light works. It's so beautiful. There was one page that blew my mind away because I thought, wow. But that could, I think 1,000 books could be written about one of those pages. So, Gottfried.
Yeah, thanks, Doris, for your wonderful contribution. Yes, I want to share with you just a little page on page 350. And it reads, some beautiful words there. It said that as soon as the light of the Creator enters an egoistic desire, that desire immediately submits to the light and it's ready to be transformed into altruism. He said it has been said many times that the light cannot enter an egoistic desire, but there are times that there are two kinds of light. The light that comes to collect the desire. So here is that now once that light enters, it transforms. And then no matter the state we are in, no matter our state, we are in the various states of call it sin, or call it egoistic tendency, where it's I, and then we want to change it to bestower. And that is the beauty, where you allow the light to work. And that's the work. We doesn't do it. We only allow the light to transform us. Shira.
Okay, so I'm going to start summarizing because we almost get into a 15-minute review. But there are, for clarification, because obviously the audios will be picked up by other people who do not necessarily understand terminology, and some of these terminologies are actually in Bibles, and we don't want to confuse people. I want to make sure I clarify what Abraham means and what Isaac means so that we understand. This book is talking about attaining the worlds beyond, and it's talking about forces, and those forces, they have biblical names. And so when the book talks about Abraham, it's talking about a specific force, that force that gives us the power to act above our reason, and it's called Abraham. And the force Isaac has its own specific definition. Again, Isaac is ego that you can control. It's the desire to receive, but within it, it can be controlled as well. It has another element as well. The bits to do with the correction that we have to make is to invoke these different forces within us. We need to recognize that, okay, like Delise was saying, my reason tells me I'm sick, I want to go to the hospital, or I want to beat this person up for what they've just done, or I hate what they've done, I don't want nothing to do with them anymore. That's all within the reason, and that's not going to help going forward if you want to attain the worlds beyond. What the book says is that you need to invoke a new force which is above the reason. And that force is called Abraham. And that is the right line, which is I'm going above what I think, what I hear, what I see, and what I feel. Because the book also says that it is normal for people to act on what they see, feel, and know. What is unusual for people to do is to act against what they see, feel, and do. But doing so is what faith is. And this, like a trial system, where you act, you feel it, you see it, you know it, but you put a massage or a restriction and then you go above it. That going above it is the Abrahamic force, which gives you the spiritual organ because it's outside yourself. You do not know what the result is going to be when you do so, but it's going to reveal the status of the Creator. It's going to give you the quality of the Creator. And on that note, we shall end today's review until we meet again.
What
Thank
a
you very much.
beautiful summary, Sheila. What a beautiful summary. And thank you so much, friends. Bye bye again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Just all done.